Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. How are we all doing today? How is we doing? We doing okay? Hopefully everybody is doing fine. Thank you for kicking off the contribution, Steve, for today. I greatly, y'all don't know how much I appreciate y'all. Like, I'm gonna have to do something in Patreon or something. I should have a Patreon meeting in the spring. Thank you so much, Steve. So, Paige and Dr. Umar, listen. I do my best to not talk bad about the obvious things that I could be saying about Dr. Umar, but I refrain from saying those things because in the end, what are you going to do? But today, I'm going to have to speak on a couple of them things today. And I'm not going to go super far in depth because Dr. Umar, I agree with him on some of the points that he makes sometimes. Like when he's talking about the economy, not the economy so much as when he's talking about this system and Black people and the history of Black people in this country and things of that nature and all of that time. Like I can agree with a lot of the stuff that he say when he talk about how they do young Black boys in school by putting them in these remedial classes and assigning ADHD and ADD to them and trying to medicate them. And it is not proper. I agree with him there. Like he makes excellent points when he's talking about certain things. So I can agree with some things regardless of other things. I can compartmentalize. I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, if ever he has meat on the bone, I can take the meat, I can leave the bones, and we don't have to really deal with it. However, I can't rock with coming for Vanessa Bryant. And this isn't even about defending her personally. I don't know Vanessa Bryant. I'm not privy to the things that she does. Vanessa Bryant is not a public figure. The only reason why we know her is because her husband was internationally known. We know her because she was married to Kobe Bryant and is now, unfortunately, his widow. Being his widow, she inherited his fortune, his money, his estate, whatever it is that you want to say. For all intents and purposes, I've never heard any scandals concerning her either during Kobe's life and not after his death. So as far as I'm concerned, she's been behaving as a lioness. She lost her husband. She lost her child on the same day in the same accident. And if anyone has ever had the loss of a husband and a child, then you know the pain, you know the grieving process that you go through. It's been what, 3 or 4 years or something like that since he passed. And days get easier and things of that nature. You are able to pick up the pieces and you are able to, move on with your life on a day-to-day basis. But you're still gonna miss your husband, you're gonna miss your child. Okay. She is not obligated in any way, shape, or form to take what was left to her by her husband's death and dispense it and disperse it to the so-called Black community. Now, before I go in, I'm going to share the article. We're going to share so that you can hear the soundbite. This is from his recent interview on the Joe Budden podcast. Okay. So we're going to share the article. Okay. I'm not even going to, you know what? I am going to read it. I'm going to read the article itself. It's very short. Vanessa Bryant was at home minding her business when she turned into a trending topic after getting called out by Dr. Umar. Yes, indeed. This lady has been minding her business. I ain't heard her come out and say nothing. Anyways, Pan-African activist Dr. Umar Johnson recently appeared on the Joe Budden podcast, where he shared some of his latest arguments about issues impacting the development of the Black community. Among his frequent rants is the topic of interracial dating and Black people dating outside their race. Known for calling out Black men and women who date outside their race and the issues he feels arises from that, Dr. Umar decided to center his attention on the late Kobe Bryant and his widow, Vanessa Bryant. For Umar, he feels as though Vanessa has not used the money she inherited from Kobe, which is $600 million state, to help amplify the Black community. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can actually, I almost want to open it up in a different window because I want you to hear it. But Joe Budden, he don't really be tripping like that with the with sharing. And plus, this is not off of his page. I find usually you can share stuff if it's been shared by other people and you get that. So that's what we're gonna do. Let me make it big. It's only about 1 minute and 20 seconds long. He, curse a little bit, but this is how I need you to hear it. Now, I needed y'all to hear the clip itself. Before we get into so many things wrong with what he's saying, I try not to be disrespectful. But Dr. Umar, why the school ain't functional, beloved? Why is the Black school, the school for Black children that you have been supposedly raising money for the past more than a decade, why is that school not operational? When myself and several other people have watched people, Black men, from the ground up build schools. This is not a reinvention of the wheel. Plenty of Black men in their communities have started independent schools and educational programs for Black children in the inner cities and have successfully produced these schools. If that school is not operational, I'm talking with staff, students, payroll, everything. If you can't produce right now, a fully functioning, up and running school that you were supposed to be FDMG, okay? If you can't show me a fully functioning FDMG, I don't want to hear about what the money that was supposed to help the Black community coming from somebody else's personal wealth. That man died in an accident. It wasn't like he was sick and she was anticipating his death. That was a sudden thing. That was that man's personal wealth. That was not communal. That was his personal money and business and whatever else he had, whether he had properties or it don't matter what he had. Those things were left to his wife and the other child who did not pass with him. That is their personal money. You can't tell folk what to do with their money. That's number one. You cannot tell that that's the kettle, that's the pot calling the kettle black all day. You have been gathering money from this very community that you want Vanessa Bryant to, I guess she's supposed to go broke and be homeless to give money to what community? To who? Who she's supposed to be giving the money to exactly? Which programs? You started talking about she didn't choose a HBCU for the sports initiative. She don't gotta choose a HBCU. Did we or did we not see how HBCUs treated sports legends that came to help them? Coach Prime, anybody that came to a HBCU to lend his expertise as an NFL Hall of Fame player, retired. He came to bring his NFL football expertise to your program, to an HBCU program. And then people stole from him, like literally was thieving. The disrespect. He put his money into that HBCU, into that football program, in order to uplift that football program, in order to come to where young Black men were, in order to mentor these men, young men that he knows for the most part did not have fathers in the home, father figures and things of that nature. He had his own son that didn't go to that school. I don't think his son went to that school. And the HBCU did him dirty. Then got upset that he was like, you know what? Let me go over here. Let me go over here. What school he go to? What school was that? Colorado, I want to say. Where he's appreciated for what he know how to do. which is all he wanted in the first place, was appreciation from his people, because it was his people that he went to help. He didn't go to a white university first. He came to a black one because of a sense of wanting to give back what he could give back in his area of giving back. How he knew how to give back. And it wasn't just football. He was talking to them young men about values. He was talking to them young men about their mindsets. He was trying to talk to them young men about looking out for the tricks and the traps. If you make it to the NFL, there's a lot of good in it, but there's also a lot of things that you need to watch out for. People come for you. Vultures be around you. You gotta be able to make sure that you can navigate, because it can become treacherous for black men that suddenly come into money and that they didn't have before, and then they don't know what to do with it, and then all these people come around and they you know what I'm saying, like vultures, like buzzards to them men, and they don't know what to do. And then by the time they retire out of the league, no matter how successful they were, by the time they retire out of the league, within a few years' time after their retirement, they usually go broke again because of the decisions that was made during the time that they was earning that money and their lack of financial knowledge, things of that nature, on and on. And black folk did him dirty for that. Talked about that man like a dog. And then tried to act like he did something wrong when he finally washed his hands of it. And said, I do like the other coaches do because I can get paid more. He wasn't even taking the amount of money that he really was worth in the position. Why? Because the football program didn't have that money to give him in the first place. And he didn't need it. It ain't like he was hurting for money. He just wanted to be there to help in the way that he could help. Why am I bringing up Coach Prime? Why am I bringing up? Because what is helping the community? What is that? What do that look like and what do that mean? See, there's an unspoken pact. There's an unspoken concept in the so-called Black community that if any one of us finds any success, financial freedom, things of that nature, we get out of the hood, we get out of the dregs, we get out of the expectation is that we are the spook that sat by the door, meaning we are able to go and glean the knowledge, get an understanding of how the world really works, and bring that knowledge back to our people so that our people can then utilize what we've learned and what we've understood to our benefit. And thereby improve our station as a collective people. But the majority of Black folk don't like that. Now, do they? And we don't really accept that as a form of help either. Because as soon as one of us makes it out of the barrel, one of the crabs make it out of the barrel, The rest of the crabs always want to call him or her a coon. And I'm going to tell you where that coon stuff comes from. It's not that there's no such thing as a coon. We know a coon when we see one. But sometimes that word gets thrown around very loosely. See, a lot of times black folk will get called a coon by other black folk when we actually come back with the understanding and knowledge. The thing that we come back with. See, folks like Dr. Umar just want us to come back with money and infuse money into a community whose value system is lost and therefore does not make good decisions concerning money, do not know how to handle any funds that come their way, and don't know how to make those funds work for them in order to come out of the situation and mental and financial poverty that we be in. So when you have Black people that actually do make it out of the barrel, we actually do become the spook that sat by the door. We actually become the person that says, you know what, I'm going to take this information back to my people. They're not going to like this though, because they just want us to spend money, but that is not the solution. That is not actually how we help ourselves. The difference between us and other groups is that their value system is different than the one that we have adopted. And it is because of the way in which we conceive the world, which is really what holds us back from the vast potential that we actually have. We're inventive, we have ingenuity, and things of that nature. We are the originators of some of the most game-changing inventions and concepts that the world has ever seen. But we are unable to capitalize on these things. And it is because of the value system. It is because of the mindset that we actually have collectively that actually stops us from being able to make proper gains on what we know and what we are able to really do. When we come back to our communities to say, I can give you some money, that's fine. I can set up some funds or I can set up a program or whatever. That's fine. I don't mind doing that. However, the meat of the matter is not a lack of money. We now have more money than we did during Reconstruction and all of these and Jim Crow and all of these eras where we were locked out of job markets and things of that nature. We have more wealth collectively as a group than we did before, but we don't have as much forward motion. We don't have as much upward mobility as we used to have. And the reason that we don't have this upward mobility, the reason why our mobility is restricted, the reason why we do not enjoy any of the wealth of this country, we don't see opportunities. We are unable to take advantage of opportunities when they do come to us, is because of the mindset that we have. We are working in the lost value system. And when you tell us that, we'll say, oh, you just don't want to help us. You done went and got a taste of the white man's money, so now you don't want to come help us. You just want to keep all of the money or whatever for yourself. No. Before we can come back, you know what? I'm gonna dig into it. But before we dig into it, we're going to take a quick commercial break. So after these messages, we'll be right back because I want everyone to go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Definitely go and get your wonderful, wonderful body butter. This is a Black-owned company who has wonderful products. We've already had so many people in the chat yesterday that vouch for these products, that have used these products. They're wonderful. If it will be your first time making a purchase, you definitely want to take advantage of the 10% off your first order using the promo code Crimson. So definitely go to ashkicking.com. Do not misspell that. I've given you an opportunity. You don't have to type it in. All you have to do is go to the top of the chat, click the link, and make your purchase. The website is beautifully done. I love the name. I love the branding. I love the colors. I love the images. I love everything about this company and their products. So obviously, if the Crimson Cure is promoting it, this is something that you absolutely want to become part of and that you want to take advantage of. So once again, hit the link at the top of the chat for ashkicking.com. If it's going to be your first order, you're going to get 10% off if you use the promo code Crimson. Okay? I don't know how many likes we need, but I know I owe y'all a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button. Bam, bam. You got to, So go ahead and hit the like button. Let me get to the super chats. Thank you, Mogul May. Said content much appreciated. Umar don't hold the women accountable on several occasions. He don't. Thank you, brothers UK. Peace, sister. All the best for the new year. You as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, JS. Umar needs to get packed up and sent out of here. I'm sick of him. Somebody in Kobe's camp need to make a call. This attack was disgraceful and heinous. Thank you so much. David said, is this the same Dr. Umar who would gladly kiss the soda cracker and Akabaka of hyenas? Huh, the very one. Thank you, Welt B said, claiming to be King Kong consciousness. He is the king of depolicing and pocket watching. Thank you once again, JSO. Umar uses black femcel rhetoric ideology. It's sickening coming from a con artist who has stolen millions from black people. He's a hardcore gynocrat. Thank you, Barry. Say happy new year, everyone. So sick of Umar, his clout chasing, pro-whack foolishness. Hashtag where to school at. Hashtag stay in your lane. Umar, thank you. Miss Lucasey said, would he come after Kobe's wife if she still had his covering? Very disgraceful behavior. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Doc. Said, nah, I totally disagree. Sanders planned to go. And even if he had planned it, he still came there to do, and they did him dirty while he was there. You can't steal from that man, and you can't do that. You can't do that. This is why, and I'm going to get into it after I read these super chats. This is why you get a lot of black people, whether they famous or not, end up doing this to the community. I'm not going down this sword no more with y'all. I'm not going to down the sword no more. How many times am I supposed to down that sword with y'all? Because you don't want to be helped. Don't want to hear what the help really is and want to do the work. It's 2024 and we still at the bottom of the barrel cup because we don't want to do any work. And people don't like that because it takes us out of a situation where we can claim victimhood, but we don't like the work. We really don't. Thank you, Black Goku said the fact that Umar had to go after Kobe's wife when he's no longer on this earth is a cow move on his part. He needs to go sit down somewhere. Exactly. Thank you, Stanley, for your super sticker. Thank you, Doc. So you're off base on this one. Sanders didn't need to spend money. He just needed to fulfill all that black rhetoric he talked. He planned to leave JSU from the rip. Did you go to an HBCU? I did not go to an HBCU. I actually went to the University of Illinois at Chicago for 1 year. I did not graduate. I do not have any type of collegiate degree, bachelor's or otherwise. Thank you, International Quiet Storm. So Vanessa has bothered nobody since Kobe passed. Hyenas dragged her husband's name and trashed her name in the process. Umar, you're a big part of the problem. Yet you had zero smoke for Sukihana and Sexy Red. Thank you, Jeremy. Said, peace be upon you, dear Kendra, and peace be upon you as well. Happy New Year, sweetheart. Thank you all so very much for your contributions. Okay. Thank you, Donovan. Says Gianna was Kobe's wife, daughter. Even if Kobe's wife would have been black instead of Latina, the black community never would have seen the money. Most people have wills for loved ones and not the community. Thank you, Corin, for your contribution as well. I appreciate you. I'll get to the rest of the super chats in a moment. Because here's the thing. Getting back to helping the community. We think spending money helps. We already have money. And I've said this before and I'll say it again because the focus really does need to be on our mentality and our collective overall mindset. This criticism is coming from a man that did not hold Sukihana nor Sexy Red accountable for the influence that they have on the black community. Let's talk about it. Because he wants Vanessa and her family to be homeless by coming to the hood, just I guess making it rain on every black neighborhood in the United States in order to prove that she gonna use her husband's money. Now, before I get on, he don't know what Kobe's will was. He doesn't know what instructions she's following from her husband. She doesn't know. He doesn't know what he may have told her in the event of my death. This is what I want you to do. This is how I want you to move with the money. You can give it to such and such. You can open up such and such. Here's what I definitely don't want you to do with the money. And then after that, she living on it. Why that woman can't mind her business? Why that woman can't mind her business? Why that woman can't mind her husband's business? Her late husband. For all we know, she's doing whatever it is that Kobe wanted her to do with it. And let's say Kobe didn't have no particular instructions. She ain't got to give it to nobody. She ain't got to give it to nobody. I don't care what he left her. Y'all just mad Because y'all didn't inherit $600 million. I bet you she would give every penny to have her husband and her son, her daughter back. Every penny of that money, every penny of it. Every penny of it. But moving on from that part. Ain't nobody gonna be throwing no money at y'all. You would not hold the likes of Sukihana and Sexy Red, who has a direct influence on young, upcoming young Black girls in every hood that they music reach, and they music reach all the hoods. The public image that these two so-called Black queens display and promote through their music, through their videos, through their imagery, through their social media presence, and all of that is nothing more than Jezebel, whoredom, and corruption and debauchery. Yet, you, Dr. Umar, was happy, ecstatic, if you will, to get next to Sukihana and try to see if you could clap some cheeks. Because where your wife? While we talking about Black spouses and the transference of anything, where your Black wife? Because you got kids, Umar. Where your Black nuclear family? See, I wasn't going to go there. Where yours? Where your Black queen at? Why you didn't marry the mothers of your children? Why you didn't marry them women? Why you not with them women? Why you not making it work with them women? They queens, right? And it's the Black man's fault if she ain't up to par, right? So it was your fault if your baby mamas wasn't up to par to be married. That would be your fault according to your logic, correct? So why don't you go back over to them women, apologize for not being a good leader and a good father, and marry them? Because according to you, it's all Black men's fault anyway. How Black women comport themselves, the fact that they masculine, that's what you told Daily Wrap-Up Crew. The fact that they masculine, the fact that they not married, the fact that you basically said they can't choose better because it ain't better. Would you happen to be in that same pool of not better? Or that, are you exempt from that? Or let me know while we talking. Because Vanessa Bryant was not Kobe's baby mama. She's his wife. No matter who else he may or may not have been messing with outside that marriage, they didn't inherit $600 million that she did. And I ain't seen her move funny since he been gone. Matter of fact, we don't know what she do on a day-to-day basis because she doesn't come out to make a spectacle of herself. I ain't seen her do no crying and dying little tour, interview tour. I ain't seen her do none of that. I ain't seen her run his name through the mud. I ain't seen her concoct with nobody to tarnish his legacy or anything like that. I have not seen that. Far as we know, that woman has been minding her business. She ain't been out here twerking. She ain't been out here making a fool out of herself. She ain't been out here doing nothing. If she has entered into another relationship, then she done kept that quiet. It's been a good 4 years. And that's a young woman. That ain't no old woman. And she pretty. So if she has entered into another relationship, she's being respectful about it. She ain't came out flaunting no other man or nothing like that. So what business is it of yours what she do with them? And she don't have to use that money to help a community that don't exist. Let's talk about that. Because before we can talk about supporting a Black community, there has to be a Black community. Define Black community now. Define that. Because all that we have is a bunch of Black people that live around each other. There is no longer a value of spirituality. There is no longer a value of health. There's no longer a value of family. There's no longer a value of appearance. There's no longer a value of dwelling. The internal values is shot. You got women that I just did a show yesterday about breaking up a nuclear family for no reason. Because she want to turn up. That was the reason to break her whole family up, because he wouldn't turn up with her and give her more money than she thought she did. She thought he was supposed to give her. So she didn't mind coming on to Kendra G's channel and tell the whole world that she broke her family up, and she was supposed to be congratulated for that. You got a divorce rate that is astronomical. And of the divorce rate, you got the majority of those divorces being initiated by women. And those women don't have nothing to say other than he was controlling. I needed to do me. I needed to find me, suffering from the Tia Mowry syndrome. I'm going to do a video on it coming up, that you had little 5-year-olds, look like they were 5, 6-year-old little girls, having a little kid party, but they was doing karaoke to Sexy Red. But we ain't talk about Sexy Red and her impact on the up and coming little girl generation that's going to be the next baby mamas, the next single mother crew, the next I don't need no man crew, the next bitter crew, so that in 30 years from now, they'll be on whatever passes for TikTok in 30 years crying about how feminism told them wrong and how they made the wrong decision, and now they want to have a soft girl era because they mammies was too broken and bitter and out of there as to not have 5-year-olds singing and trying to twerk to Sexy Red, and then had the audacity to record it and put it on the internet like it was cute. And you ain't got nothing to say to these so-called Black queen celebrities that do this type of stuff, that have much more of an influence on young Black girls than Vanessa Bryant ever will. Whether she spent money at a HBCU or not. And let's be real, even if Vanessa did come to the hoods to create and to have programs that was really going to help Black children or Black fathers or Black mothers or Black young boys and girls, how many Black people from that same community would feel some type of way because they don't want to work, they don't want to show up and volunteer their time? Volunteer it, don't get paid, because that's how Black folk in the lost value system operate. They want you to give every inch of yourself and don't get a dollar for your time, effort, energy, for nothing. But where do they volunteer their time at? I mean, volunteer for nothing. You go have nothing. You supposed to break your absolute neck. You supposed to go hungry, homeless, shoeless, clothesless, shelterless. In the interest of so-called helping the Black community. How many of our Black leaders have given their very lives for this help, and the Black community still hard-headed? How many have shed their blood? How many times did Malcolm X tell you about values and changing your mindset and having to do things and think differently if you want different outcomes? Man was killed. And the Black community is in a worse situation than it was them from the day he died. Same with Martin Luther King Jr. Same with the Black Panther Party. Same with all of the other revolutionaries and Black men and women that gave their lives in order to make sure that the Black community would be in a better position. And y'all have lower than you've ever been before. And you lower now than you was in slavery, because at least in chattel slavery, we had a better mindset. We had a better mindset on the plantation than we do right now, because as soon as them chains was unleashed, we went for it. As soon as them chains was broke, we had Black Wall Streets, Rosewoods, we had all of that. Under duress. Because just because we wasn't on the plantation no more don't mean we wasn't under duress. We created our own. Right off the plantation, we went right for it. We didn't waste no time. And there was those of us who was undereducated. We had to figure out the system. We had to create our own systems, our own banks. We had our own banks. We had our own hospitals. We had our own institutions, educational institutions. We had built our own infrastructure in the middle of all of them. That's why they was mad. And in the year 2024, according to the Gregorian calendar, Black folks in America is in a more deplorable position than we have ever been under Reconstruction, Jim Crow, and any other era in this country. And you want to talk about it's because of money? Money? You think money's the problem? We think money's the problem? Being broke ain't the problem. Having an impoverished mind is the problem. And when I say impoverished, I don't mean financial impoverishment. I mean spiritual impoverishment. You're spiritually bankrupt. Because we accept all this foolishness and we promote it and we congratulate. Oh, we just having fun. Do we look like we in a position to be just having fun? Huh? Do it look like we in any type of shape to be collectively sitting around talking about we having fun? The whole world is moving past us and we sitting here talking about we having fun. And then when anybody pointed out, we want to holler about what white supremacy did and what racism did. Well, if white supremacy and racism did all this other stuff, what is we doing to get out of that? What are we doing to get out of the mindset? What are we doing to get out of that worldview and to get out of that spiritual place, to get into a better spiritual place so we can do better for ourselves? See, when we get to talking about that, then folks like want to talk about you a coon and all that kind of stuff. When we get to talking about, okay, there was white supremacy, okay, institutional, okay, there are things in the institution that's there to hold us back as a group. I can get with that. I've never been one to deny the existence of an institutionalized white supremacy. We all know that it exists. It exists in different stages and degrees, but it exists nonetheless. I've never been one to deny that. But that doesn't make me at any point absolve us as a group of getting out of it. This is why the concepts of biology, culture, and environment, aka bioculture, are so important for us to understand, because we needed to understand how the world is working so that we're not out of the loop. We allowed this society to tell us that our spirituality doesn't mean anything and that wealth means everything. We have to get money to do this and money to do that. Well, all the money in the world don't help you if you spiritually bankrupt. That's why I don't advocate nobody going hungry and homeless, trying to give Black folk all of their money that they ever made. And I don't advocate that. I don't advocate that at all. Because the real help ain't in the finances. The real help is in the internal values, the spirituality, where your heart is, where your mind is. We don't even value our health good enough. We think it's okay being obese. We think it's okay doing drugs and drinking all the time. And we think it's okay to be high. We think that stuff is okay. We think we ain't gonna have to pay for that. Then you want to talk about how the white man's hospitals do you wrong. Stay out of them. Stay out them hospitals. How did you do that? You watch what you eat. You watch what you consume. You take better care of your health. Now, that don't mean you'll never get sick. But you do your best to stay out from under them folks. Stay out from under them folks. You don't gotta have diabetes. You don't gotta have cancer. Like, you don't gotta have that stuff. You don't. We won't even take so much time as to learn how to guard even small gardens. I got the blackest thumb in the neighborhood. I swear to you, I don't have a green thumb. But I do take the time out if you can't do nothing but buy a little arrow garden and make it grow it for you. To at least get you some, you can get your own seeds. You don't even got to get the seed that come with the arrow garden. You can have your own seeds. You can get the little one, you can get the big one. Big one will grow your vine. Stop ordering Uber Eats all the time. Figure out how to make you some food. Don't have everything processed. Learn how to make some of this stuff by hand. Try to get you a little bit better ingredients for your food and stuff like that, far as you can afford. We think it's okay to be a baby mama and single motherhood and fatherless homes and broken homes and don't well marriage don't make nothing better. We advocating that kind of stuff as the world just passes right on by, and we sitting around advocating stupid stuff, things that self-destruct. We are self-destructive, and when one of us say that to the other one, then we gotta give them a side eye. What you mean? Because we self-destructive. What you mean? What I mean? Ain't nobody. Black folk don't honor the help that come to them as a group. We already went over how many Black men and women have lost their lives, whether they have been deleted or whether they've been jailed for life and all that kind of stuff, lost their liberty and freedom. And as a group, we ain't honored them yet. We ain't honored that yet. We have not honored that yet. Call me when it's been honored. Because see, what I talk about is more than just what the women are doing. Is we already went over why I focus on women, because women need accountability. But everything that I do has been going towards this. Everything that I do is geared towards what is the solutions and advice to return back to the proper value system where spirituality is first and not wealth that most of us do not even have and will never see. Why make money a god to you when most of us will never have the money that we think we want? Most of us don't even understand how finances are even gained, let alone make that your God. So the first thing we need to do is correct our spiritual value, because our moral compass is eroded to such an extent that we celebrate the Sukihanas, and we celebrate all that foolishness. Cardi B won't stop making a fool out of herself online. One minute she crying about Offset cheated on her, and the next minute she hollering at her fan base talking about some y'all get out her business when she comes to the internet to put all the business in the street. And then in the next post, she gloating as to how her and Offset spent the New Year's together and she got D down and all that kind of stuff. And they trying to make it work and stay out her business. But baby, beloved, we wouldn't know what was going on in your house if you didn't come to TikTok and Instagram to tell us. When your moral compass is degraded in such a way where you celebrate the foolishness and you downgrade things like creating a family structure. When women like Princella can have a large following of women, when she say stuff like the nuclear family is like a construct, social construct that don't benefit women and don't benefit children. When you got people like that can have a large following and people try to take that seriously, we in trouble. Your spiritual value is in trouble. It's in trouble because you can't make out a truth from a lie. You can't make out a truth from the lie. You in trouble when you can't make out a truth from a lie. As long as that spiritual value is corrupted, everything else is going to be corrupted. Like she said in Color Purple, until you do right by me, everything you think about gonna crumble. Until you do right by the spiritual value, everything you do gonna crumble. Your health ain't gonna be no good. Your family, your appearance, your dwelling, your mobility, your education, your profession, your leisure, and your wealth all gonna be trash. Because you can't get your spiritual self together. You can't get your head right. You can't get your mind right on nothing. Your principles and your code is gone. What do you stand on? What do we stand on as a group of people, as a so-called community? And we want all this respect and we want folks to, uphold us and uplift us and don't talk about us and this and that. And we do not uplift nothing positive. All of our imagery, that much of it self-inflicted, is negative. The fact that the color purple was even remade to begin with is a testament to the foolishness that we will support. It's flopping, by the way. Thanks to Raji. You can thank her. She called her stray today. Thank you to Raji. I'm sure Oprah thanks you as well for going on a crime spree at your press junket that you were supposed to have been promoting the color purple instead of crying about how you were gonna walk away from it because you paid your peanuts. You accepted peanuts. You should have accepted cashews instead of peanuts, and you'd be crying. Anyway, let me get to the rest of these super chats. Thank you. Original Man said Dr. Umar need to let Kobe rest in peace and leave his wife alone. He criticizes Kobe and still has yet to open up the school he promised with stolen money from the Black community. Thank you, Black Goku says someone in the chat room brought up Robert Smith. Didn't he donate to a HBCU college and black folks ridicule him because he's with a white woman? Exactly. Thank you, Pernell said Dr. Umar Tariq waiting on Al Sharpton to retire, trying to shake down Kobe's wife. Tariq caught a stray. Thank you, Ruben. And so Vanessa is helping at least 3 black people, Kobe's 3 remaining daughters. This is true. Thank you, Original said Dr. Umar has 2 baby mamas, never married, and expects us 57.25% of single childless black men and wife of these type of women. Yet he praised Suki. Exactly. Thank you, Reginald said teach Sister Kendra. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kakuzu said Jew from Daily Rapper who got shot. Keep them all in your prayers. We definitely will. My condolences and prayers for a speedy recovery for him. And thank you, D Plus, for your contribution as well. Thank you. Original Man said the Prince of Panhandling has yet to start a school, but then 21-year-old King Randall opened up a successful one. Shout out to the young brother. I mean, there are those of us who know people personally that black, and it's typically black men that open up these schools and things of that nature. What's the holdup? And they do it on a string budget. They do it on a string budget. Thank you, HVAC said for 2024, this is the last year for Black Americans to get on code. Black people will not make it to 2028, regardless if Trump or Biden is in. Thank you, Kathy said mine is a terrible thing to waste. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pharaoh. Say, I love you like family, Auntie Crimson. Umar is nothing but a hunchback, or not a hunchback. His scam always been if you fund me, you fund the school. Over 10 years of lies. Thank you, HVAC, again. So this very mentality nearly cost my mom. Her mom virtually left her nothing because she was greedy. I just accepted Black people are lost. Thank you again, Pharaoh. Say he disses the passport bros are ignorant because he don't about the Black family. As an NOI Muslim, I know every melanated race is a part of the Black family. And thank you so very much for all of your contribution. Let me see if we can look at any cash apps. I do believe I got 1 or 2. Yep, 2. BG and BP Thank you so much for your cash apps and your contributions to the show. I greatly appreciate you. I appreciate everyone for coming through and stopping through. And jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.